In this video, you're going to learn how to take multiple animation clips and blend them together smoothly, and also, if you want, output them into a single animation such as this. This is made up of multiple clips blended together and output and reapplied as a single source. So let's jump in. So we're going to start off with a standard third-person game template. And let's go ahead and go over to Mixamo, one of my favorite sources, as you know. The techniques you learned today, though, can be used for any kind of character with any kind of animation, metahuman, mannequins, anything you import. It'll all work the same. We're going to grab this guy, the Racer. So go to your Characters tab, type Racer, and select this character. And we need to download in the T-Pose. So T-Pose FBX, download. Now let's go get three animations that we want to blend for this particular character. So go over to the Animations tab. Let's start with a run. And we'll do the fast run. Now, in previous videos, I may have mentioned to check the box in place. However, I want to show you something else kind of related, and I probably need a dedicated video talking about root motion, which I will do one of these days soon. But for now, don't check this box and download. And we do not need skin because we just downloaded the skin with the T-Pose character. And you can leave all these at defaults. And we're going to have our character go from a run into, let's go with some sort of jump. Is there a jump where he rolls? Let's see. How about a, let's do it with a roll. There we go. From a run to a roll. So we'll blend into this guy right here. Alright, and then download that without skin. And then let's have him, after his roll, he's going to go into a spin kick. Do we have some sort of spinning kick? He's got a flip spin kick here, but he already kind of does a flip. So let's have him do, after that land, let's have him do maybe this high kick here. Whatever you want to have him do. Oh, you know what? Nah, it kind of does a little weird moving around thing. I want him to kind of not step sideways because he comes out of kind of a running tumble. So let's do, what's this one look like? All right, we can trim off the front part of that, which I'll show you how to do, and then we can have him land and do his spinning kick. I think he's spinning the other way, so let's hit the mirror button here, and that way he lands in the same direction he lands when he finishes his other second motion. So we'll go with this. If you change your mind in the future, it's totally easy to do, and you paid nothing, so nothing lost. All right, we have our assets here. Let's bring them into our Unreal session. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to make another folder here called Mixamo. And you can just bring in your characters like this. So I'm going to drag from the browser tab and you get the pop-up here. I don't have a skeleton that I'm assigning this character to. I want him to bring in his own character. So I grabbed, this is actually important, I grabbed the static T-Pose asset first and I'm bringing it in. You'll see it says it's a skeletal mesh. And I'm going to leave everything with the defaults. I'm going to leave import animations checked because I'm not really importing animation. I'm just importing his T-Pose character. And import. I'm not worried about these errors. It just has to do with the tip of the fingertips and his head, where the joints and weighting is. So don't worry about it. Just clear that and close that. So here is our T-Pose character. Inside here, I'm going to make another folder. Just call it Anims. This is where I'm going to bring in the animations. I could have brought it in the same folder, but it gets a little messy. So let's grab these here. You could do these all at one time, but it's also handy for me to just drag it from here. So I'm going to do them one at a time. And this time, because it's an animation, and remember we chose without skin, so it needs a body and a skeleton to target. So we're going to aim it to the poorly named 20 non-PBR skeleton. That's our racer. And import all, or import. There's our kick. Here's a run to roll. Pick your character. If you did import all, we're only importing one thing. So import or import all does exactly the same thing at this point. I'll hit import all just to prove that. And then finally the other one is the fast run. Also bringing that in. So now we have our 3 animations and our T-pose character. So let's get our character into our scene. So I'm going to grab the pink, which is the skeletal mesh, and frame on this character. And let's start assembling our blended animation. First, we're going to need a level sequence. Just out of habit, I like to make level sequences in a folder called Cinematics. And this is 5.1 now, so previously in earlier videos the level sequence was under the animation menu, but now it's been moved to the cinematics menu. So you want to go to add a level sequence. Technically you can also come up here and add a level sequence, but then you have to tell it what folder you want it to go to. I'm already in the folder where I want it to be, so I'm just used to doing it this way. I'm going to hit F2 to rename this, and I'm going to just call this my Anim Blend level sequence. You can call it whatever you want. Double click to open up the sequencer, and let's get our character in here. Add a track, actor to sequence, our character, and let's start putting in our animation. So the first animation was the run, so fast run. Now here's one of the important points to pay attention to. So if I hit play and my character runs, right, and then stops, that is because this is a single animation, a cycle. Let's pull out this cycle and let's talk about what happens. So if I go back to the beginning here and I hit play, many of you have brought this up in comments during the 0 to 60 minutes short tutorial. And what's happening here is it gets to the end and goes back and gets to the end and goes back, and that's related to, in that video I'd mentioned, check the box to have the character running in place. Notice how the animation is actually on the character, not the top level of the hierarchy of the character. If you look here, the location of the character is technically not moving. This point right here, all the joints underneath that skeleton are moving, but not the top level joint. So that's kind of the difference between what in place and not in place has to do with. So let's talk about one way. What if, let's put this back to the first loop. If between here and here we had enough animation that we were fine with just this amount and we were going to go into another move, that'd be fine. But what if we want him to run farther and then go into his jump? So we need more than just a couple steps. Well, you do see what happens if we pull this out and just keep stretching it, it keeps popping back to the origin. So this is the first trick we want to look at. This is how to blend the same cycle to make it continuous. We want to play out the full cycle, stop at that position, add that same clip again, and don't stretch this one, but add another one. So hit add animation, another fast run. And this is different than just pulling out the other one. Now as you work through here, you'll see the effect is the same, but we technically have two separated clips now. What we can do is go to the second one, select it, right click, and we want to go to this option here, match with this bone in previous clip. Now you can pick any bone you want actually. So let's take a look at where the character is landing. Now in theory, any of these bones you would think would work. So maybe the hips, you want the hips to continue, or this foot to continue. What it's saying is when you get to this frame here, match that bone on top of the next bone. Let me show you what I mean. So select this second one, right click, match with previous, and let's try that. Let's try the hips. So I turn on the hips, and now it took where the end of the hips were in this first one and continued that same position and offset. Notice how far he is from his original place because we're telling him to pick up where the first one left off. So let me just use the rocker buttons here. So now I'm clicking through here. So now what's happening is I'm taking these two identical clips, and there's really not any blending per se going on at this point because they're just butted up end to end. But it's kind of like a relay race where the character is taking that position of the hips and copying that information and giving that offset to the next clip to continue from. Again, notice the difference here. It's nice and smooth versus what we had before. And what happens is when you get to the end of this one, he's going to pop all the way back here. If I was to extend the second one, we're back to the issue we had before. He's going to jump back to where he started from. Now this whole clip is continuing to have the same offset that we set from the bone matching. So he's going to have that same offset. However, if we need even more of a run, we need to do the same thing again. We would add another run, offset it there, drag it there, and we'd have to do the same thing. Right click, match with previous. The hips worked fine, so we're going to go with the hips. And now the third one is working fine. So what I'm able to do is take all three of those clips and continue an offset by matching the bones to the previous clip. This is working better now than I've seen in previous versions of Unreal, so I'm kind of liking this method a bit, especially for what we're trying to do, make a single extended animation out of all this. So I'm going to delete that second one there, and this is where I'm going to attach my next animation of the tumble. I haven't set my middle mouse yet. Let's do that because it'll drive me crazy otherwise. Editor preferences and type middle and check that box. All right, much better. Okay, so let's go to the end here. Now here we are going to do some actual blending plus bone matching. Let's first see what happens with no blending. We're going to add the run to roll. And you'll see what happens is he jumps back to start at where his original position was from this second run. Let's understand exactly what's going on here. So this clip here, this run to rolling clip, is starting at the end of where this second one looped back to its starting position. Remember, the second one's starting position is actually here because we did the bone match from the first to the second. So this right here is the position of the second clip's starting point. So when we get to the end of it and we say let's start another clip, it also starts at this place. So what we need to do is do another bone match on this third clip to the previous clip. So we're going to right click. Let's try hips again. It's going to kind of depend on where those animations line up. So let's just give it a go. We'll try hips. And let's back up a few frames. And forward a few frames. Now you see he's planting his right foot, but the animation of the next clip has him pushing off of his left foot. One thing I could have done is gone back to Mixamo and did the mirror output so that this is his right foot instead of his left foot. But let's see if we can fix this anyway. If we, how much of a blend do we have to go through there? So he's finishing running. He's got a bit of a stretch to go, but we'll give it a go. Let's see what happens. That's what the whole purpose of blending is. Might be a stretch at this, but let's give it a go anyway. I'm going to take this third clip and shove it into the first. Let's give myself a little more. So let's see how much we can get away with. So by taking that third clip and ramming it into the second clip, now we're starting to blend the animations. So let's see what happens. He's running. His right foot is coming forward. And let's pull back a little bit here. Let's see if this is going to look terrible or decent. He's Got a little bit of a slide there on the right foot. It's actually not that bad. I mean, if it's moving fast, who notices? It's, you know, it's just for fun. You can fine tune these kind of things as much as you want. That's why I'm not an animator. I don't have the patience to fine tune stuff. I can just show you how things should be done, and then you can spend your time doing all the detail that you want. So he's got a little bit of a rush there going, but that's because he's moving and then doing the blend. So you'd have to finesse that a little bit, but it's not that bad. I mean, it's not that great, but it's not that bad. I'm showing you the technique at least. So we are running forward, and then you see a mostly smooth drop into the roll there. All right, so then does the roll. Let's get some more space here. Continues his roll. Let's see, what's he do after that? Gets up, plants his left foot, and continues to start running. Now let's try and drop in that third type of animation. That's technically our fourth clip, but it's the third final installment of our combo here. So let's do animation. What was the last thing? Oh yeah, the kicking. So he's going to come out of that roll and then do a kick. And you'll see he goes back to all the way back to the starting point of this one. So let's do another bone match on that character. Right click, match. So we're kind of, again, handing the baton to the next character, the next clip. And let's again try with hips, see how well that blends, if at all. All right, so as a straight cut, he's got quite a shift from one frame to the next. So that is expected because they're not going to be in the exact same position. So we have to do some blending again. So I'm going to pull this up to the same level and push it in a few frames. And let's see, he is looking the opposite way of where I would have expected. So he comes up and does a little wacky spin there. So let's try. This might be where sometimes the bone matching goes a little wacky. Let's see. If we pull this back out, let's look at the feet and see if we can do the feet. So the left foot is facing that way, and he's stepping off of it. And the left foot of this one, oh, that's what I was going to do too, was show you how. So he's kind of, let's look at it here. So he's got his left foot planted, and his right foot is about to swing around. Now, if we look at the end of this one, his left foot is planted, and his right foot is swung around. So let's do a little trimming of the clips and see if that helps us a little bit here. Let's try and do a handoff right here where the right foot is about to pass through the left foot. And where is that? We'll say about here. And so what you do is you right click on the second one, you go to edit and trim section left. So see, it says trim section at current time to the left, keeps the right. So if I now drag this back over here, it goes here. All right, so ignoring the bone matching is not helping us here, but let's at least look at the motion here. So the right foot of this earlier clip, it's already passing through from the left. I'm going to actually back up and put them right so their ankles are close. Let's double check though. He's already stepped over here a little bit. So let's, all right, maybe we're fine about there. You can do the same thing here. Let's just for practice, I'm going to go to this other one, right click, edit. This one I'm going to trim to the right. Just takes off that one little extra frame there just to show you how to do that. All right, so now they are not handing off the baton very smoothly here. So let's try something else. Let's go to this clip here. Sometimes this is just a little bit of experimentation. So I'm going to right click, go to match bone and turn off matching. And then he goes way the heck back over there, which is fine. And we still need to do matching, but let's try with a different clip. Let's right click, or a different bone. Let's go to this one. We'll try the left foot because his left foot is planted in both cases, and hopefully this will pull the foot around in the other direction. And let's see, where are we going to find left foot? Left foot. All right, so that snapped this character hopefully to match that one. Let's roll back and forth, see what we get. Well, the foot is in the right position, which is good because we still got to do some blending. So right now we're just snapping between the two. What I like about this is as I roll forward, watch his left foot, it's more or less in the same place, and when we do the blending, that's going to smooth the rest of that out. So let's take this clip, blend it back into the previous one a little bit, and now roll through there. Oh, that's looking pretty good. I mean, you know, good enough, right? So let's go full speed. All right, let's play the whole thing and see what we have. Let's get a little more camera space here. Where's he start? Starts all the way over there. All right, back to the beginning and play. Oh, he's got some smoothing to do in that transition, doesn't he? Wow, yeah, he does for sure. He gets a little quick through there. So let's see if I can fix that briefly. He just does a little more of a slide here than I'd like. I know I said I don't like aesthetics, but can't quite let it go with that. So let's see if I can pull out some of this blend space here. I'm going to take these two and try and get a little bit out of that. Let's try it again. I still got a slide going there. How's this one looking? Well, it's not looking bad. Might have to, if I wanted to really fix this, I might go back and download that second clip, the running to the roll, and put on mirror so that the feet are matching a little bit better. That's what made this one kind of easy, is, you know, he was coming down on his left foot, and then in the next one he was starting on his left foot, so it was kind of easy to blend through there because his feet were already lining up. In this second transition here, I'm really switching from a character landing on their left foot to their from the right foot straight to the left foot, so there's going to be a weird little glitchy thing there. I'll leave you to go do that if you'd like. I've showed you the tools to use. Now it's just a matter of putting them together just right. So again, if you're doing the exact same thing, you want to try it, just run back and grab this clip, but check the box that says mirror. We did that for that third clip. I should have done it for the second one too. I wasn't paying attention to the foot landing. So mirror, watch as, see, he starts on his left foot, but if I switch and turn on mirror, he starts on his right foot. So it just mirrors the animation from one side to the other. So it looks like I should have done that for the second one. But, you know, that's the way things go when you kind of freestyle a demo, but that's right. It gives you a chance to learn something. I may not have talked about the mirror button that much otherwise, so now you know that one really well. If you're doing animation, or if you're even using this for games, maybe you want to hit a particular button on your keyboard in your game and have your character do all these things as a run, tumble, and kick as one big action. Or maybe this is an action that you want to use on other characters and you don't want to have to rebuild this every time that you work with this character. So what you can do is you can take all of this here and create a new animation based on what you've done here. Another thing that's nice about that is, say, like in my case right now, I think it's okay, but I want to do some more exploring, but I don't want to mess up what I've done. So I want to, it's a kind of a way to save what you've worked on and be able to reuse it later without destroying all the things you've put together. So what you can do is right click on your character, go to Bake Animation Sequence, and choose where you want it to go. Let's put it in my anims folder, and I'm going to call it my Combo Blended Anim, and I'm going to export it. I'm not going to mess with any of the frames or all this kind of stuff. It's fine. So export, and now I have a fourth animation for my character. So back in the content browser, I'm going to make another level sequence so that I can test out this new animation. So coming in here, I have my character, and he's here in the level, and let's add him to my new level sequence. Oops, I missed him here. That's okay, I can grab him here. And let's go to animation, and let's add our Combo Blended Anim. And here you have it. If you have press play, you'll see it's one complete animation cycle, and he's doing his funny slide there, and then a roll, and then a kick. So that is now a new animation. If you go to content browser and look in your animation cycles, you can double click and open this to inspect it. So this is the full animation of all three of those blended together. And again, you can go back and tweak the original if you need and output another blended, and you can keep playing with that and finessing it as much as you need. But that in general is how you can combine animations. Now I'm using Mixamo, but you can use this concept with any animation cycles that you have. I just like Mixamo because it's quick and easy to grab characters with animation to show you these things. So the key takeaways are that we did the back in the this other level sequence. So back in the original one, the two main points to bring up again are using the bone matching. Again, right click, match bone with previous clip, find one that works for you, and then also animation blending by shoving the two into each other to get that overlap. And we also went over how to take a animation clip and trim it. If you recall, right click, go to edit, and then you can trim to the left or trim to the right based on where your current playhead is, right? So if I come in here and put it right there, right click, edit, trim to the right, cuts off everything to the right. So that's really handy when you're trying to take motion that you've gotten from a library and you just want to use a part of it. So you can just trim it and use what you need. Like I mentioned, eventually I'm going to get out a video talking about root motion, how Mixamo doesn't have root per se, how you can run it through Blender to get a root. Although there are some little bit of some hang-ups on that process. I'll try to show all that and how to address it when I get a chance. But until then, hopefully you can get some good blends going here. Before you go watch some more videos on learning Unreal, why don't you take a break and catch this classic stop motion from my son Dexter. And then come back and learn some more Unreal. Hopefully you found this useful. Throw a note in the comments if you have other things you want me to go over. I'll try and get to those when I can as well. Cheers, everybody.